Hello, my name's Hugh Grierson. We farm in Perthshire here. Our farm is about 800 acres and it's a mixed organic farm with a mixture of crops, wheat and oats and peas with animals, livestock. We have cattle, sheep, pigs and chickens. My father bought the farm in 1965, a couple of years before I was born. And him and mother farmed it in partnership. They farmed it very much the traditional way for this area, malting barley, beef cattle, and a rotation, a mixed farm with several years cropping and several years down to grass rotated around the farm. I went to agricultural college and came back and joined the farm, joined the partnership, but always wanted to farm organically. So by the year 2000, we'd gone through conversion and converted the farm to organic. This allowed us to keep many of the traditional things we wanted, the crop rotation, the mixed farming, but gave us a higher premium for our products and created a lot of environmental benefit. We have cattle, we have sheep, we have chickens to eat and laying hens, and we grow a lot of the food for them, pigs I should mention. So we grow wheat and oats and to feed them with. We don't sell the cereals, it stays in the system, and then we have a butchery, so we actually sell the meat from the cattle, sheep, pigs, chickens, ourselves. Flavour of our meat is very important to us, having a butchery on the farm. And there's no doubt the feed we feed the animals has a huge influence on the quality of the meat we give out. Our customers always comment on the flavour of our meat, and particularly when the grass is growing in the spring. And I'm sure this is because of the diverse diet that the animals are eating. It's good for the health of the animals, and what's good for the health of the animals is good for the health of our customers as well. We have a website, so we deliver a lot of it direct to people's houses. We have a van, use the internet, and we supply other shops, farm shops and small independent businesses as well. This crop is an intercrop of wheat and peas. We plant the two together at the same time, spring wheat and peas, and it grows a mixed crop for feeding to our livestock, to the chickens and the pigs. One of the problems, particularly with the chicken diets, the laying hen diets, is there isn't enough protein from the wheat that we can grow in this area. It tends to come out about 9–10% protein, but we want feed that's probably at least 16% protein to feed to our animals. By growing peas in the wheat feed the wheat crop, we get higher yields, but also the wheat-pea mixture that we get has higher protein, and it means we don't have to buy in soya to feed our animals to get the necessary protein levels. The peas are legumes, they fix nitrogen, so they're feeding the crop of wheat. The wheat is also providing a structure for the peas to grow up so they don't go flat. And by growing the two together, we're able to combine it. We did in the past, many years ago, try growing peas by themselves, but we couldn't combine it. In our wet climate here, it was just too wet. But the crop as a whole is diluted, as it were, by the wheat, and it goes through the combine at normal moisture levels that we expect for harvesting grain. Some farmers do separate out the peas and the wheat to sell them separately, but for us it works very well. We get a mill in to mix our rations for our chickens, and it mills up the wheat and the peas together and feeds it as one. And anyone who's doing that, feeding their own rations, really should be trying it. We also use the herbal lays, which is a mixture of at least 10 different species to feed our cattle and sheep. Our cattle and sheep are pasture fed. That is, they're not fed any grains. In the summer it's grazing, in the winter it's silage with maybe a bit of minerals supplement, but that's it. And the herbal leys are perfect for that. The herbal leys are very high yielding for us, and they provide a range of other benefits. The herbs, the chicory is very good wormer, so it will worm our stock for us. Also the plantain is very good at healing, and particularly young lambs thrive on it. And this isn't just hippie talk from an organic farmer. The New Zealanders, some of the most commercial farmers in the world, have done trials on these things and are planting complete fields of them to improve the health of their livestock. And some of the other herbs, we have yarrow in there, which is a very traditional herbal remedy, and it improves the health of the stock. So in addition to getting yield of grass, we're also getting a free wormer, a mineral supplement, and generally improving the growth of our animal. For us as organic farmers, we get much better yields by mixing our species. If you're a conventional farmer and you have a single sward of ryegrass, and you put on the optimum amount of fertiliser, get the optimum amount of water, and everything goes well, obviously you'll get very high yields that way. But once you take away the artificial fertiliser, that ryegrass sward will give me, as an organic farmer, a very poor yield. As soon as I add clover, I double that yield. And every time I add another species, I increase the yield again. So for those of us who want to farm in a regenerative way, this is how we rebuild our yields without inputs that might be damaging to the environment. Since we've gone organic and then increased the diversity of our cropping, we've seen a build-up of diversity, biodiversity on the farm, an increase of the small animals, the slugs and the snails, the butterflies and insects. And that, of course, leads to an increase in the larger species as well. We're also very interested in the health of our soil, and all these techniques that we're doing improve the life and the biodiversity within the soil. And as that soil health improves, it improves the yield of our crops and again the biodiversity living on the farm. Back in 1998, we started planting trees out in our grassland here. The grass is grazed every year, 1 year with sheep, the next year with cattle. The trees have grown well. They're providing shade for the cows. The cows eat them, as you can see, but they also improve the soil. They improve the amount of water that percolates into the soil, the amount of carbon that's accumulated in the whole system, and support a heap of insect life that supports the bird life beyond that. So they're an all-round improvement on the biodiversity of the farm. We've planted quite a mix in here. Some are native and some aren't. It was also partly for appearance sake. There are some copper trees. This one's a lime. It's very good, the cows love eating it, and it's really, the bees love it, insects love it. And there's some fir trees, evergreens, and a range of different species that do different things. Some provide shade, some provide shelter all year round. It's quite a mixture. We've also planted hedgerows to achieve similar things. They've got the added advantage that you get base with a lot of wild flowers moving in, but they support, if anything, more insect life and more bird life. And round the edge of the fields, they're essential for lambing shelter and for improving the bird life that's on the farm. Not to mention carbon capture. We let them grow long and we harvest them for firewood. So it's another yield we get out of the system. We get firewood, shelter, and all the biodiversity benefits of that hedge.